Hey guys, how are you? It's me, Lauren B. Welcome to the Untitled Tarot. We're doing another episode of the Starseed Lightworker Chronicles. I filmed this video before, actually, but it just didn't feel right. I don't know. It felt like some kind of spiritual attack tutorial, and I don't want to tutorial myself to you guys. These videos are strange enough for me to make, but I've been getting these very specific instructions that this is a video I need to be making because this is something that a lot of you guys are struggling with. I know you're struggling with feeling attacked spiritually by people or just by energies because you're telling me that, because I'm getting emails and DMs from you guys, and I do a lot of dream work and energy work, and there have been some instances for me lately where I've had to go to battle, let's say, for people that I don't know even that well, but they're coming to me in the dream state, and they seem terribly afflicted with low vibrational energies and demonic activity and spiritual attacks and warfare and witchcraft and all of this stuff, right? And I know that some of you guys are like the good white witches, and you're doing like, you're working with plants and herbs, and it's for the collective and to spread good energy. And so I'm not including you in that. I no judgment here. But it's something that I've been very guided to do, this PSA, like psychic service announcement about, so, and I was supposed to make this video a couple days ago, and I didn't, because I myself had a little freak out. So, like I said, you guys know I do a lot of work for the collective unconscious, specifically like while I'm sleeping, and you guys know, like, girls just trying to catch a full 8 hours. Like, I'm just trying to catch a solid REM sleep like a couple times a night, but it doesn't very rarely happens for me that way. And I had a dream the other night after about probably the last week or so feeling very heavily targeted. I've experienced spiritual attacks probably, looking back on it, I can see instances of it like throughout my life. But I guess I wasn't really aware of it up until about 1.5 years ago when I had like my big awakening. And I had someone at one point in the beginning of my ascension journey who was doing magic on me. Actually, this person wasn't even doing magic on me. They were having someone else do magic on me. And it was like one of those things that it's like all of a sudden it's just like I felt it. Maybe because I'm just intuitive, I was like, I feel like someone's messing with me. Like, I feel like someone's like trying to come at me right now. And then I started to get like these flashes of the person and these people and these places, right? My angels kind of putting these pieces of the puzzle together for me. And it made sense in relation to things that I was experiencing at that time. Like, I would be having these terrible nightmares where I'd be being chased or attacked or targeted, right? Or like these weird just things started happening like around my house that I lived in at that point. Things started breaking. There was almost like haunting activity. There were pests everywhere, like mice and snakes and bugs and like flies, just like flies everywhere. It's like I have that thing sometimes that I say like flies are spies, because they are. I'd get these weird physical ailments, like I'd get really sick out of nowhere, or specifically more than anything else, they would drain my energy. I'd be fine. I'd be like eating fine, sleeping fine, drinking water, like just living my life, and all of a sudden my energy would be zapped. And I also found, for the ladies out there, that it would happen often around the time when I was about to get my moon cycle, because during that time you're already like a little crabby, and you're already like kind of not having it, and your energy is already kind of like waning, and you know, you're just like, ugh. And so this took a while to figure out, but eventually I realized that when I was kind of creeping up on that time, any kind of spiritual activity, interference, right? Whether it was from a low vibrational entity somewhere in the galaxies, or whether it's directed from an actual person, they'd usually try and like catch me like right at that time, already when you're kind of like sinking low into like your bear hibernation kind of time. It took a long time to figure that out. But yeah, I had someone paying someone else to do magic on me. And that was also during the time when I was experiencing like a certain amount of ascension symptoms. But that's the time when I started to do my energy work and connecting with the higher dimensional beings, the high council, all of that kind of stuff. My guides were just like blank slate. My guides, like I didn't know who they were. I didn't know what their names were. I didn't really know much at that point. So it was a little bit like being caught off guard without like any information about what was happening to me. So I just really felt like I was going crazy at that time. Like I said, like pests and bugs, and I'd get into a car accident, or my tire would be flat, or it was like haunting activity, and I'd get sick, and I'd break out in hives, and just like all of these weird things. Like I'd get like a weird infection, like just like I'd cut my finger, and next thing you know, it's like, oh, I'm like, just like all of these weird stuff. Eventually over time, it dissipated by the grace of God. And then I kind of just went about my little ascension path, doing your purging, doing your refining, doing your shadow work, crying it out, doing your prayer work, trying to extend your consciousness to higher levels beyond what like feels reasonable to your kind of monkey mind. And then occasionally, like here or there, I would have little instances of things happening. Same kind of stuff as I mentioned before. And they'd always kind of show me who it was. And I think for a long time I tried to pretend like it wasn't true, like the sources of where it was coming from. I liked to pretend like, no, that person would never do that to me. No, that person wouldn't project onto me like that. Not them. But it was them. I just didn't really want to admit it, right? And at this point, I kind of started to do a little bit more research in conjunction with my own personal experience, and realized that there's different layers of kind of spiritual attack, spiritual warfare, right? There's like a very basement bitch kind of level, right? Where it's just people have, like the evil eye. It's like envy, jealousy. People don't like to see you doing well, you're just shining too bright for them kind of thing, whether it's at work or in your family or social media or whatever it is, right? So you just kind of project like envy and jealousy and gossip and those low vibrational energies at you, right? Then you can go kind of up a level, and then you have things like magic and the bad witches and that kind of stuff, who kind of try and cast spells and put things in jars and do all kinds of stuff to you, right? They're not trying to heal the earth and transmute energy and connect with Gaia and raise consciousness and spread like love and hope energy. Like they're not those kind of witches, right? And then there's like kind of a layer up after that, and those are like different dimensional beings. We talked about that in the Midnight Mediumship video when I was talking about the fourth dimension, right? How like we kind of live in the 3D, higher dimensional beings of like a higher consciousness. They live in the 5D and above, where those mimicking spirits, demonic spirits, parasitic energies, and energy vampires, all of that stuff, they come through in the 4D, the collective unconscious, usually where we have those dream states. That's in the 4D, right? So that's where you'll kind of experience a lot of that stuff, which is why sometimes people who like to mess around with astral projection and don't really, or trying to, I mentioned in the Midnight Mediumship video, tried to have rendezvous with their divine counterparts or whatever in the astral, and, that kind of thing. sometimes they end up being kind of afflicted with parasitic energies because it's not really something to play with. The devil is very subtle, right? He wears a suit and tie. It's very smooth. It's like a little whisper. You know, he's very cunning, and so often that's kind of how they get you, is you know, those mimicking spirits, and that happens with guides sometimes. You know, I was just talking to someone about this. I won't mention it because I don't know if they want to be mentioned. You know, you'll hear something, or you'll get like a piece of guidance, and it seems like a little weird, or like, you know, and you'll follow it because you're like, okay, it's my guides, I gotta listen to my guide. So you'll go and you'll do it, and you end up in some kind of nefarious situation, some kind of bad luck, like something weird happens to you, and you don't really know why. You're like, why would you lead me into that? Because that was like not a great situation. Might not have been your guide. It could have been a mimicking spirit. There are telepaths, right? And they can kind of intercept your thoughts and kind of slip things in, right? It's almost like when you deal with a little bit of like a narcissist, and they kind of gaslight you, right? And make you think that something's your fault, or make you think that something's your idea when it wasn't really my idea. Kind of energetic telepaths, energy vampires, they can kind of do the same thing as well. So it's really imperative that you're incredibly discerning in times like this about what you're receiving, where it's coming from. Make it identify itself. You're a sovereign being. You have sovereign, sacred energy space. You are an extension from source. You have every right to know who's talking to you. If you saw the last video that I posted in this series, you'll know the story about how when I got like really angry one day, and I was like, no, you're in my head, you're talking to me, you're telling me what to do all the time. I want to know what your name is. Like, reveal yourself, sir, ma'am, entity. Turned out it was Archangel Gabriel. So I was like, my apologies. But I am a sacred and I am a sovereign being. So I have a right to know who's coming to me. I have a right to know who's talking to me, where these messages are coming from. And you do as well. So, you know, it's important in times like these because, yes, tomorrow, December 21st, it is the Grand Conjunction. Yes, we are coming up to the Great Awakening, which is a beautiful thing. But things don't always come super easy, right? It's like the devil doesn't go quietly, and he doesn't go quickly. So for every person that is ascending and striving and trying to be positive and trying to be like more open and loving and back to like the bare bones of who we are and our authenticity, and I am you and you are me and we are we, right? There's gonna be some like fuckery energy that's floating around. It happens. It's sad, but it happens. And like I said, I've seen it probably really heightened. It's something that it happens, it exists. A lot of you have experienced it yourselves, unfortunately, but I've noticed in the last 2 weeks since the eclipse moving, really from the full moon, but it really around the eclipse it started really heating up until tomorrow. In the last week or so, I've noticed it being really heightened. I've noticed it an intensity in the attacks, in the slyness, in the fuckery. Just it's become more prevalent to me, and so it's something that they've really been wanting me to speak out about, even though it's not something that like I love to speak on, honestly, because I mean, you know me, I'm a rising Libra. I like everything to just be like, cool, man, like, can't we all just get along, and everything's gonna be great, and you're great, and everything's great, like, because you are great, and everything is gonna be great. It's gonna be so much better than we expect. Don't let the fear mongering or any of that stuff get to you, because that's like low vibrational shit. Fear is not in your nature. Fear is not a factor for you. But that being said, even in the summer, I was posting videos in my car driving to work, right? Talking about like the janky juju, like right when you're about to like hit your breakthrough, something's going to come to try and challenge it and take it from you and cut you off at the knees. Like that still rings true. And in the last week or so, I've seen it really beef up the haunting activity I don't even want to call them nightmares, because they're night terrors, really. It's like a lot of you being terrorized in your sleep, in the weird activity and stuff going around you. Some of you are getting sick. Some of you are having like fly, like infestations with like weird stuff happening, right? And I know this one because I sense it and I see it and they're telling me. And I also know it because you guys are reaching out to me. You're coming into my emails. You're DMing me, right? Because you don't know what to do, you know, and it's really an honor for me to know that like I am a safe place for you to come to for help or guidance and support. And I will always do anything I can to help and guide and love and support you guys, right? But I would also be remiss if I also didn't make it a point to remind you guys to be aware, right? I said it in the Pursuit of Happiness video about like the spiritual war, right? Like it's already won, because the fact of the matter is that it really has been. Good will always triumph over evil. Love will always triumph over hate. But it doesn't mean you don't have to dance. It doesn't mean you don't have to go toe to toe, right? And so for me, in my personal life behind the scenes, as I have expressed that I do the energy work I do the dream work that I do the healing work that I do, the mediumship, helping people cross over, I do that stuff. It's also, I guess, necessary for me to express the fact that I also do this work too. I do exorcism, extraction work. I didn't realize that I was doing it. I most certainly did not ask for it. If there was like a grab bag of gifts and abilities, I would have for sure like chosen probably something else, to be perfectly honest with you. That was part of the reason why they had me make this video the other day, and I kind of threw like a little bit of a fit about it. That was kind of part of it too. I was like, I can't just levitate, like I can't do something else, like it has to be this, because as I started the video, I had a dream the other night. And I've been fighting this stuff, going toe to toe with it on behalf of myself, absolutely, to defend my own sacred space and my own right to pursue happiness and prosper and fully live in the destiny and the gifts that God has for me, but also for you guys as well, right? And I had a dream the other night, and there's someone that I know, like casually, like through the power of the internet, right? And this person does similar work to what I do, to what a lot of us do. Because I know a lot of you guys are kind of here to learn and do the whole thing, but a lot of you guys also are light workers. You're readers, your oracles, your mystics, your healers. Most of you who come here are that, right? We're in the same industry, so we're in the same kind of community. So I had a dream, and it had turned into this night terror. And in this dream, this person was horribly afflicted with this demonic spirit, like ravenous, like rabid, really awful, like writhing on the floor, speaking, and I sat there and I held it, and I prayed over it, and I preached to it, and I did the whole thing. And by the time the whole process was kind of over, this person had become like very sort of like limp and weak and frail, and I kind of scooped them up and I brought them to a doorway, in which the door opened. There was like an angelic presence, stepped forward, retrieved that person. I had woken up in the middle of the night after this, because how do you stay asleep after that, right? And I was not pleased. It was like one of the first times that it was like it hadn't happened to me, but I had seen it happen to someone else, and I was like a part in trying to extract it from this person. And something about like having to be put in that role like really kind of shook me. And so I woke up, grabbed my Bible. There's a YouTube channel called Catholic Deliverance Prayers. It is not for the weak of heart, honey. It is not. But I put that on. I mixed in a little Shannon Yvette. There's a healing anointing on her voice. I have my Bible. I'm praying. I'm getting, kind of these downloads. I'm calling in Michael, and he's there, lickety split. He always is. Michael's just so dear to me. They're all so dear. Oh, my light turned blue. How nice. And so this person has like a number, you know, like everybody kind of has like angel numbers that are like associated to them. Like, you know, mine's like 33 or like 333. Like I'm the 3 girl. And this person, and a lot of people do, you got 44, you got 77, you got 88, whatever your number is. And the time that I had woken up was just like 1 minute shy of like this person's like number. And so it gave me the inclination that this, whatever it was, had been sent, but it had not yet attached itself to this person. So I had woken up the next morning after my hours of being very angry, like, why me? Like, why is this part of my assignment? Could it be anything else? Could you want me to go back in outer space? I'll go back to the high. I'll go do something else. You want me to do something else? How about some light bookkeeping for the angels? Like something like this has to be the thing. I'm doing fucking exorcisms in the middle of the night on top of my own spiritual battle, on top of all of my collective energy work, on top of trying to be a normal person and just trying to make it in this world. Like really, like, you shit me. So I wake up in the morning and I contact this person and I let them know. And I luckily had like confirmed to them a lot of what they had been experiencing. There was a lot of mishaps, a lot of delays, a lot of obstacles, just a cornucopia of bullshit this person was going through. And so I was able to channel some more guidance and some more information about who, where, what, when, all of that kind of stuff for this person. So I was very grateful to be able to do that, to share that safe and sacred space with them. And then that day they had wanted me to make this video, and I had done my videos for the day, and all throughout the day I was just getting bombarded by this energy, trying to put like worst case scenarios in my head about all these different things going on in my life, right? And I'm anxious, and I'm like freaking out, and I'm like, I gotta look for a sign, like I need guidance, like hello, can somebody help me, right? And I remember just hearing them say, like, defend yourself. Like you know what this is. Like, you're smarter than this. Like you know what's happening. You know that, like, the time is nigh. Like, you know, guard yourself. Defend yourself. Like, we're here for you, but, like, we also gave you these skills in which to do so. Like, put on your armor of righteousness right now and go, like, fuck some shit up, Lauren. And I'm like, okay, like, I just say, like, just, you know, like, because when you're going through it, babe, like, it's rough. Like, I know it is. You feel like you're going nuts. Since, like, I'm going through it and I'm trying to defend other people, and I'm just like, there's literally no bookkeeping, no light bookkeeping. Okay. So I had, like, myself a little mini fit. And I was like, I'm not fucking doing this shit. Like, I'm not doing it. And then they soothed me and comforted me. Blessed be. And then today I had done my videos. I did like 6 videos today, and they're like, you gotta do this video. And I was like, I have to? And they're like, yeah, you gotta do this video. I'm like, okay. So I filmed it, and again, it just felt like off. It just felt like a weird spiritual tutorial, and I just don't want to do that. Like, it's just not me. And so I took a little break, and now here we are doing round 2. Video 2. So I hope that whatever it is that I'm relaying to you guys really is helpful. You know, spiritual attacks are real. They come through in a lot of different ways. Like I said, there's physical manifestations of them with sickness, infections out of nowhere, migraines out of nowhere, like weird accidental stuff that'll start happening, anxiety, weird thoughts coming in your head because they're trying to be put in there by energies that are not your guides. And as I said, you are a sacred and sovereign being. You have the right to know who is talking to you. You can make them reveal themselves. And if they won't do that, that's a sign for you. If you ask, they'll tell you. It'll be in like some weird kind of unsuspecting way, but they'll let you know. You'll get confirmations. And if you ever get a piece of guidance that feels a little off, because it's a little bit like what I was saying in the dream world, how mimicking spirits, parasitic energies, they'll look kind of like the people that you know, and they'll kind of sound like the people you know, but there's like something a little off about them. Same thing when you're receiving guidance. So if you really aren't sure about it, you are within your total sovereign energetic right to ask for confirmation. You go, God, I would like confirmation of this. And they'll give it to you. He will give it to you straight from the source. straight from the source, no filter, straight from the tap, right? God usually sends confirmations in 2s and 3s. So, you know, something there for you. Now, if you are someone who feels like you're experiencing something like this, there are a few ways to kind of like help a little bit. Just like spiritual baths, like taking salt baths really helps. Like salt is very cleansing for your energy. Frankincense, myrrh, whether it's essential oils or you're burning the stones of it, like the rocks, or incense, frankincense and myrrh, like incense cones, like that kind of smudging, really, really great. Kind of open up the windows, let the energy out, like fill your space with like positive, like that good, right? Like fun music, put on some 70s, like dance around, have a laugh, put on something funny. Like that's a really good way to like that space up, right? Again, I kind of said in the Midnight Mediumship video with like TVs and computers and mirrors and stuff like that. If you can, turn off your computer, turn off your TV. One, it's gonna just, as like a muggle, just like a person, it's gonna mess with your sleep, that artificial stimulated light. But mirrors in particular, like this thing back here, the front of it is actually a bunch of mirrors. So like when I go to sleep, I've started covering it like with a towel or something. Just that seems to help too, because mirrors can act as portals. So again, covering up mirrors, turning off your TV and your computer. I put like the meditative playlists, right, on my phone. You could do different ones, whatever makes you feel good. Really makes you feel like in the best of spirits, right? Like I love putting on different stuff, like different hertz for like your energies. There's archangel meditations in there that are really great. I like to fall asleep underneath a prophet's voice that is like tried, true, and trusted. The only two that I would recommend, like signed, sealed, and delivered, Stevie Wonder style, are Brother Eli from Prophetic Drive Time, and Shannon Yvette by Shannon Yvette Ministries. Both of them, that's man and woman of God right there. So occasionally I'll put a lot of their words, their sermons on at night. Go to sleep with those. Salt baths, really helpful. Again, I said protecting your crown, covering it while you sleep can also help. Little hoodie action, right? Nothing's more powerful than the power of prayer. I personally, I don't believe in, or I don't encourage doing like reversal spells or like anything like that if you feel as though it's like an actual person doing it, because what you do is end up absorbing more of that energy and then you send it back to them, which is kind of like two wrongs don't make a right sort of thing. So it's actually better to kind of bless and pray for your enemies, right? Because that person could be very much afflicted with a devilish, demonic, evil, low vibrational spirit that is afflicting them, which is causing them to sort of act out towards you, right? Because when you're in your right mind and when you're in your right spirit, you're happy for other people when they're doing well. Like other people's blessings don't take away from yours. It's like God's got enough blessings to go around for everyone, right? Just little things like that. But it's like, I know you guys are kind of really struggling with this, and as the Grand Conjunction and the Grand Awakening is coming, like I said, like there's gonna be some fuckery coming around to, especially to the light workers, to try and distract us, to try and confuse us, to kind of try and paralyze us in fear and self-doubt, and it's that energy of like I don't want to attract any more of this towards me, so like I'll just stay quiet, right? But like silence is violence when it's rooted in compliance. That's from Rising Appalachia. It's the song called Medicine Woman, and it's such a beautiful thing. Silence is violence when it's rooted in compliance, when you're too afraid to speak your truth, right? Or to speak up about something because it may attract more to you, right? It's not how it works. Like you are so divinely loved, you are so divinely guided and protected, and you have so many skills and abilities inside of yourself. You have an army of angels around you always, but you also have been given an entire armor of the Lord, like to protect yourself. That's why there are times when I'm like, guys, and they're like, we're here, baby, but like stand on your feet, like defend yourself. Like you have all of the power through us, right? Like It's really true. It's very David and Goliath. It really is. You know, it's like Goliath was huge. He had this big sword. Oh, David brought a rock to a sword fight. Like, the fuck? David brought a rock to a sword fight with a giant. All he needed was the power that was already inside of him. So, like, for me, I don't do spells. I don't do that stuff. Like I said, there are plenty of, like, good witches out there, right? Like, for me, I'm like, I make enough of a mess. I'm not getting involved in that. I was like, it's just too much for me. It's too much to clean up. I'm not doing it. I don't need it. I don't need it. It's like, I'm so, like, love and light, you know. It's like, and I was talking to the person that I had that dream about, and they were saying, you know, like, sometimes I come off, like, kind of tough and, like, this, that, and the other things, but I'm really not like that. Like, in my heart, I'm like, listen, I can read energy like an alphabet, you know. It's like, and that's an important point to make too, is like, energy doesn't lie. So if there's someone that you're dealing with, if there's a piece of guidance that you're receiving, if there's something going on, trust your intuition, trust yourself. That's part of this teach a man to fish thing that I've been preaching for like the last month. You have to trust yourself. Energy does not lie. If it feels off, it is off. No questions asked. That's it. That's it. If it feels off, it is off. No questions asked. You want to check in yourself? Am I being fearful? Is it my ego? Is it my pride? No. Check, check, check. We're good. All right. Get out of here. Get away from me. See you later. Go in peace. Get away from me. You know, and I said to this person, I said, you know, you come off a little like bad cop sometimes. I'm like, but you're like sweet as the day is long. I was like, I know that. I was like, and it's funny because like me, like I'm very like, everything's cool, guys. Like, you're the best. I'm the best. We're the best. I was like, but in reality, like, I will fuck you up. Like, I will fuck you up. Like, it's like, don't come to me. Like, and I know people that are like projecting and doing the whole thing and random ass spirits that want to come in and just like fucking bother me. It's like, I will fuck you up. I will tear you limb from limb, spiritually speaking. Of course, like, and I've said that, like, I've had energies creep in here recently, and I've like sensed them. I peep that shit. That person lives across the country. I will peep a demon fucking thousands of miles away from here. Don't fuck with me. And I looked at that thing and I was like, do you know what I'm gonna do to you? You know what I'm gonna do to you. So, do you really want to piss me off? Do you really want to piss me off right now? That thing scurried away so fast, I can't even tell you. It's because it's just like, ain't nobody want to mess with me. I am like the cutest little savage you ever did see. I will give you a hug. I will give you a cup of tea. I will give you a bucket of encouragement and motivational speaking, and I will lift you up to the highest of the heavens. But if you fucking come to me the wrong way, you got the wrong girl at the right time. Energetically speaking, physically speaking, I'm not the one. I am most certainly not the one. You know, my Venus is in Aries. Aries is Mars energy. That is the warrior, which means that I will fight for my beloveds. I will fight for love. I will fight for peace. We will have it. God will reign king on this earth. That is it. Like, the war is already won. You could bring them out, but at the end of the day, Book of Revelations, baby, we know how this turns out. We already won the war. So if you want to dance, we can dance. But you can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. But at the end of the day, it's just cardio to me at this point. Like, that's just fine. Like, it's just cardio at this point. And it's important for me to say that and kind of giggle about it because you're no different. You're no different than me. You got the same juice. I got juice. You got juice. We got the beats, right? It's like he gave the same package of love, protection, spiritual gifts, ability to connect, weapons of righteousness. I got the same package, and you got the same package, and they got the package, and they got the package over there. It's about how you use them. There are gonna be people in this world, and they're gonna take the shortcut. They're gonna take a fucking shortcut. They're gonna try and skip the line. The Peace Stealer, he's kind of new on the High Vibe. What is it? The High Vibe TV, David Palmer, Leo King. He's kind of new in that community. But he has a really great Instagram, and he does these lives that are really, really good. And his video came up this morning, and it really confirmed to me a lot of what I had already been downloading and trying to process. Me and a lot of the other light workers. And, sorry, I'm chewing ice. And, you know, he was really confirming that you don't have to be scared. And you don't have to get anxious and they're gonna come and what am I gonna do? You're not gonna do you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna fucking deal with it. You're gonna stand on your own 2 feet. They didn't say the weapons wouldn't be formed against you. They just said they wouldn't prosper. Doesn't matter if they got giants and a sword. You could bring a rock to that sword but fight, baby. It don't matter. It really doesn't, because the power of the all-living, all-powerful, all-knowing, all-creative God lives in you, lives in me. And so that's it. Good always triumphs over evil. Love always triumphs over hate. So yes, I will fucking tear a demon apart. And then I will fucking curl my hair and I will come up here and I'll be like, hey, Gemini, because that's the kind of lady that I am. Because that's what I do. And yes, I get woken up in the middle of the night and it pisses me off. I get tired. I'm tired, but that's okay because I'm doing a good thing. God's doing a good thing in me, through me, to help other people and to help myself. So I can learn to stand on my own 2 feet and remind myself that I'm a fucking badass and I'm a sacred sovereign being, and so are you. And I get to protect my space and I get to know who's talking to me, and I can peep a weird ass energy down the block, across the country, awake, asleep, upwards, downwards, left and right. It don't matter, and you can too. So yes, there's gonna be some weird shit going on. It's a grand awakening. It's the big top, but don't be in fear. Don't let these things fucking try and press you. You press right back because you're stronger, because you're more powerful, because you have something more powerful in you. And you've done the work. You've done your shadow work. You've cried it out. You've purged. You've enlightened yourself. You've been doing spiritual push-ups like it's a fucking Tough Mudder. And of these other fuckers out here, they want to take spiritual steroids. They want to take little shortcuts. Their little things that they like to do. Fuck them. They can't prosper against you. They can try, but they won't. And deep down, that will resonate with you because you know it's true. Because it is true. I know it, you know it, and God knows it. That's why he told me to remind you about it today, despite all my kicking and screaming. And eventually I gave in because I knew that it was an important message. Not just for you, but for me too, to remind myself. Because sometimes I forget. Baby girl gets tired and I forget. I do. I forget sometimes. And I'm like, I will fuck this up. And you can too, so don't worry. Something comes and steps you wrong, you just remind them. You just remind that spirit who you are. And I guarantee you they will flee. It's like Jesus. Jesus was love and light and like the epitome of like healing and forgiveness and empathy and rebirth. But he speak a demon out of somebody. Like you order coffee in the morning. He didn't yell, he didn't scream, he just goes, get out, go, flee, get behind me, Satan. They just quiver and scurry. That's how powerful Jesus is. And that lives in you. Think about that. Think about that. God created the moon, the tide, the trees, the forest, the galaxies, and was like, I need one of you. I need one of you too. That power lives in you. Jesus lives in your heart. Fuck what they want to do to you. You're going to be just fine. So, I hope that this was helpful to you guys. I hope that if you are experiencing some of this stuff, it made you feel not so alone. And I hope, more than anything else, that it encouraged you. Because you're going to be great. I don't care how high vibe that sounds. You're going to be just fine. You know what you're doing. You've been preparing for this for a long, long time. And you know it. And the power that is in you, so much powerful than what is in the world. I promise you that. Day in and day out. So, my bees, I love you very much. I hope that you have sweet dreams. I really do hope that you have sweet dreams. Declare it. Speak life over yourself tonight. Say, I'm going to have sweet dreams. I'm not going to put up with any of this stuff. The energy in this house is clear. Little poltergeist style. This house is clear. All right? Very good. I love you guys. Stay prayed up. Stay blessed. Because you are blessed. More than anything else, stay sweet. Don't let anything steal your sweetness. I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.